Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And in my fan mail from Clowny, I got some of these Mageknight Feral Bloodsuckers, and two of them were black and one was colored. And I'm not sure what the real color of these was, but I decided to spray paint one and dry brush it and look for some detail, and there is some there. And I think this is actually a pretty neat mini. So I'm going to use this for my Western campaign as a new type of fiendy vampiric foe that kind of heals on the go. So let's get started on that. So I'm going to start with this purple and a small brush, size 1. And I'm going to do all the flesh first. Now, I did not water this down or thin this out because this paint's a little damp, and I didn't want to take a risk of getting it too thin where it wouldn't coat. But it looks like it's doing what I need it to right here, as it is, so I'm okay with that. The big talk at work is, now that I'm back, is the P. Diddy stuff. And I didn't know a whole lot about it because, honestly, I just don't care. But now that I'm hearing about it, I'm actually kind of amused. It's pretty dark shit. I didn't realize that the underbelly of the music industry was that bad. I knew it was, I've had some dealings, and my dad was, a professional musician at one point, so I know there's some weird things. Like, I know there's a lot of drugs and a lot of partying and groupies, but I didn't realize, like, I'm learning about white parties and freakouts and stuff at work, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these young people know way too much stuff about the world. We didn't have the internet when I was growing up, so you just heard what you heard from who you knew, and then you just kind of let it go. You didn't dwell on it. You snickered about it and told a buddy on the phone, or if you were hanging out and it came up. But we just didn't focus on this stuff. I mean, I grew up in the era of, like, Bradley Noel overdosing and Kurt Cobain's death, and I guess it's just our musicians don't die anymore. They just have giant parties with Ellen DeGeneres, is what I guess allegedly has occurred. But if I wasn't mistaken, I thought that Ellen was interested in women, so why is she snuggling with the old Puff Daddy there? That's just a question I had. They didn't know anything about Puff Daddy. These guys are younger, and they thought that he had always been P. Diddy. And I was like, no, Sean Combs was definitely Puff Daddy in the day. He did that thing with Jimmy Page, that Come With Me for the Godzilla soundtrack, and that was kind of the only really exposure to him that I had, because I didn't listen to a ton of that kind of music at the time. I was more into, like, punk reggae and ska, metal, stuff I enjoyed like that. He's so purple. I kind of want to do his face in a lighter shade, so I haven't touched that just yet. I'm trying to decide how I want to handle that. And I think I'm going to do his face in something different, and I might lighten his hands up a little bit more too. I haven't decided. Clowny, who sent me this, is also the winner of the 2025 Tardigrade Off, which was our Discord competition to create a tardigrade, and then we had a crowd vote for the victor. So you don't have to be, I don't have like a Patreon or anything. You can just join it. You can just get on the Discord and join our competitions and get your name in the hat for a prize. We have a contest going on right now. You can get on there and get on it, and you have till the end of the month to compete. And if you live in the U.S., I'll mail you a prize. If you live somewhere else, I might just get you a gift card or something, because mailing stuff overseas and that, you have to have a declaration, and apparently it's just bothersome. But if you are U.S., I will send you a prize, like something from the prize vault. and I will be mailing his out probably on Monday. Even though it's kind of late, but I had surgery and it put me back. So for those of you that know the situation, I just had septoplasty, where I had a piece of shrapnel from the war that had migrated from my orbital socket all the way back into my sinuses over a period of years, and it created a lot of scar tissue and damage. So they went through my nostrils, broke my septum, moved my septum, used something called a paring scalpel, and removed layers of my sinuses till they were able to get to the problem area and remove the piece of shrapnel. And it was very, very tiny. I mean, like, very tiny, like smaller than this. Like, it was like that. It was that small, but it was causing tons of problems. I mean, that's crazy. It was that small, but it was flat. It wasn't like 3D like that. It was just a little, like the tip of the corner of a razor or a Olfa knife or whatever. It was that small. But yeah, it had migrated and caused drama. So for his face, I think I'm going to do a gross pink color. When I say a gross pink color, I mean an obnoxious pink color. Now, I will need to water this down probably because this stuff's kind of thicker. This stuff doesn't coat very well either. And I run into that a lot with craft paint. As much as I like craft paint, it's just not really designed for this, for minis. I'm going to need 2 coats, most likely. So I'll put this paint over here to the side and I'll dry that off and come back. Storming outside. I drove home through this storm just a little bit ago. Okay. Come back with that pink. Hit this again. Just lighten this up and get it more pink than gray. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we definitely want to get it in the deeper parts for sure. Oh, he's so dumb looking. Love him. You don't get a lot of sculpts like this. Back then, there was a lot more. I mean, you had Ral Partha sculpts and Reaper sculpts, and I mean, you had some stuff like Dark Sword miniatures and stuff, but for the most part, unless you were buying like Warhammer, so a lot of the sculpts just weren't top notch. So it was like you just kind of got used to this whole weird, sculpts are crazy kind of situation, and you just lived with it, and it was okay. You didn't mind because that's just what there was. Like for those of you that had Ral Partha, some of those Ral Partha dwarves and stuff were just insanely terrible. I mean, I still have some Ral Partha minis around, and they're just, ugh. This is dark blue-gray, and I'm going to use this on the pants. I'm not going to water this down at all. I don't care how thick it is. I'm just going to plop it on there. There's not an enormous amount of detail on the pants anyways, so. So my plan for this dude is he's going to be kind of like an assassin vampire that fights a certain way to where he grabs you, flies up into the air, gets momentum, takes a chunk out of you, and then throws you while he's still biting you, ripping a piece of you off and hurting you as you're flying around getting your ass beat. That's just an idea. We don't have to run it that way. I have this really watered down Mountain Blue, and I didn't water it down. It came this way. It's like Omega Wet. And I've had it for a long time because I don't like using it. So I think that would be a good color. Do my cloak in. starting to look at that and go, wow, that might not have been the color. It's a little more saturated and a little more vibrant than I had thought it was going to be. But that's all right. We'll make it work. We've already kind of committed to it. I think that'll work. Now we have these arm guards are kind of different things here. So this one looks like it's some kind of metal defensive thing, and this other one looks like it's some kind of decorative thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple different colors and play with that. Let me look at some metallics here. So I have this metallic chocolate brown here. Ooh, it's chunky. I'm just using this same brush. I just rinsed it out a little bit. Too much paint. Oh, what was I talking about? The freak-offs and the white parties and stuff. Did not realize any of that stuff was going on ever. Like, and part of me feels like these guys didn't really know either. Now they're experts because it's all over the internet. But it's just so strange to think that any of this could be true. I'm using ivory, and I'm going to thin it out for this armband on his right arm. It just seems so strange to me that no one said anything, or, 2 years ago, I guess his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or somebody said, oh, hey, he did some bad shit to me. And then it turned into like this whole big Diddy thing. But again, I don't really know. I wasn't following it. I just didn't care. But hearing all the young people at work talking about it does amuse me greatly, because they get so excited and they all think they have like a secret part of the story, and then they have the knowledge that other people might not have. And I just think that's hysterical. Okay. Whoa. I'm getting a bigger brush that's going to have some better coverage. I'm just grabbing a size 3, kind of a fatter tip brush. I'm going to dampen that, and I'm going to use some strong tone, or dark tone, I mean. We better mix it up with my Mixomatic 500. My brush is good and damp. I use my mouth, and I'm going to quickly coat this whole dude with this. Make sure I get it into all the cracks. And this is going to create a pretty significant contrast across him and darken him up greatly. I was not planning to use a wash like this. I was going to just use a really thin soy saucy black paint wash. But because of how poorly I did picking colors, and that made it way too brighter than I wanted, I felt like I had to come back with like a really high contrast, dingy, grim dark kind of wash instead. And it's going to give it a whole different look, honestly, and you're going to be shocked. So we're going to come back and touch up the eyes. I think I got everything covered here. At least I tried to. Looks like I got it everywhere. Nope, right there. There we go. All right. Now, it's not good to hot air gun this, okay? And if you do hot air gun it, make sure you do it on low, low intensity. Not, you don't want to blow it really hard. You don't, that. You want, something like this. And really, you just want to let it air dry for about 3 hours and then come back. But because I do everything in one take and I don't edit, we're kind of stuck with this. All right. Now I'm going to look and get into his eyes here with a sharp stick. Well, let me get a toothpick. That'll be easier. And I just want to make sure there's no goo in there because I want to go in there and paint his eyes. I got a little bit, not much. Okay. And I'm going to get a very small brush. And I'm just using an off-white called Mummy Robes that I use quite a bit. This very small brush is a fractional brush. I kind of like them in white, but I'm not going to leave them that way. I'm going to get this bright red. Well, I'm going to air dry those eyes first. I'm going to get some bright red speed paint. And if you don't have speed paint, just send down some red paint and be very damn careful. By the way, on my screen here, it looks like it's just kind of going like that. Dude, this thing is like vibrating so fast you can't see the tip of it. That's what she said. So I have a little bit of that bright red there. Oh, I wish I wouldn't use bright red, but I already have it down. I think, yeah, you know what? I was going to use the bright red. We're going to use this Zealot Yellow and give it that color. If you have like goldenrod or any of those like craft tree, make sure you're using like a good distilled water or deionized water and send it down with that, because sometimes tap water, the hardness of it's a little high and it doesn't thin it real well. I don't know if you guys have followed that, but hardness and alkalinity tend to make paints react differently. So I'm getting that yellow. I'm just getting a little bit on my brush. Just gonna dab it in there. Just like that. I'm just gonna make sure it's even. Ooh, creepy. Now, this is shiny, and I'm going to have to deal with that after it's fully dried. I'm going to have to let it air dry, and then I'll do some stuff around the shop here while that's doing that, and it's pretty late at night because I didn't get home till after 7. So let's go and touch up this base. So to do the base for the dirty portion of it, where I have my baking soda and my super glue, I'm just going to use my deep brown from the Dollar Tree that I use for all my deserty, painted desert terrain stuff. And I'm just going to go a thin coat on that just to change the color of it. And if there's a little bit of variation, that's okay too. The coverage on this stuff, for what it is, I can't complain. For $1.25, I got this enormous tube of it. And the first one lasted me forever. And I used it on some big terrain projects too. And then this one seems to be pretty much full still. And I've had it for most of this Wild West series, because I didn't think that the Wild West campaign would last. When they said they wanted to do Wild West, I didn't really take it seriously, and I didn't think they'd want to stick with it. And this campaign has been going on for months. I have had to make so many new creatures and make up so much BS as to why things are the way they are. I've had to create so many focuses, which are like, since there's no classes, there are no classes and there are no levels in Tomorrow Comes Doom. You have to have focuses for people to develop their characters with interesting abilities and stuff. So I had to create a bunch of focuses, and it's just, the whole thing has just been crazy. And they just keep going, and they seem to be enjoying it, and they don't want to stop. And I don't want them to stop if they're enjoying themselves, honestly. Isn't that the whole reason we play RPGs? We play TTRPGs to hang out with the people we care about and that we like, and play a fun game and tell some stories together, collaborative storytelling and whatnot. You know, if I wanted to just tell stories by myself, I could just write books. I like to tell a collaborative story where everybody does their part and everybody has something to contribute. That's a lot of fun. The adventures and the shenanigans and the rule of cool and just roles that you're not sure if they make sense, but you gotta let them ride. All that excitement that comes with it, and the people cheering when they roll 20s, and I don't know. I have a gem system that I do. It's called the gem system or the coin system. If you roll a 20 on the table, you get a coin or a gem. In this campaign, I painted little stones as silver nuggets. And there's actually going to be gold nuggets too, but they don't know that yet. When they become legendary, they can save up and buy gold nuggets with their silver nuggets. But so there's a die. It's a D6 that has 1d2 all the way up through 1d12 on it. And if you roll a natural 20, you get a gem. Or, you know, in this one, like I said, it's a silver nugget. And you can turn that silver nugget in to roll that die, that 1d6. And I have a couple of them in different colors. People are like, I want the blue one, I want the brown one, whatever. And they roll that, and then they get to add whatever that die roll is. So if it's a 1d4, they get to add a 1d4 to whatever they're doing. So either they're going to roll to subtract it from an enemy's roll to make them miss their friend, or they're going to add it to their roll to hit or to do better damage or to succeed on a saving roll. And they're going to just use those as they get them, when they get them. And sometimes you'll see somebody that'll have 4 of them saved up, and sometimes nobody at the table has one. You can use them. You can use one per turn, and you can only use it on your turn, unless you're using it against an enemy to reduce their roll. But no one ever does that, I promise. I announced that for the Western campaign that you could do that because I was worried that the gunplay was going to become too aggressive for like action economy and for power economy. So I was like, yeah, you can use this for that, and no one does. Maybe they forgot, though. I would like to lighten those eyes up a tiny bit more, so I'm going to get my fractional brush and a little bit of that white paint. I just want to kind of drag it on that yellow just a little bit. I don't want to paint all the way over it. I just want to hit like the center of it a little bit. Just like that. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Not shabby. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Now I'm going to have to let it dry, and then I'll get a photo of it and all that happy crappy. See, I haven't been here for a couple of days. I was at a city council meeting, and then yesterday I had work. So, and I had a meeting with the people that are helping me fight against the city. Not fight against the city, but fight to fix the city. Shouldn't say fight against the city. We're actually fighting for the city. It's just not the way you would think. So anyways, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all the things that please the great spirits of the algorithm. Also, check out the website and the Discord. Those are linked in the description. There's also in that description, there's a discount code to get 25% off your first month of Dungeon Swag Miniatures. Not Mage Knight Miniatures, Dungeon Swag Miniatures. I have so many cataloged up here to paint that I haven't gotten to. It's just one thing after another. I never get anything done. But I have these knolls I want to get done. But since I'm not doing a fantasy campaign at the moment, I don't see the point. But anyways, yeah. Discount code. There's a free mini offer. Go to the website. in the store, it says free mini. It says $3. It's a lie. Go to Discord, get the discount code, and you get the mini sent to you for absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything for shipping or anything. We believe in our product so strongly that we will just give you a miniature and pay for the shipping. And you'll love that miniature, I promise you. We do ask that you paint it and put it on the Discord so everybody else can see your work and see how it turned out. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bloop!